Good day, everyone. Today, I will discuss my report all about financial technology or FinTech. So, what is financial technology or FinTech? Financial technology, better known as FinTech, is used to describe new tech that seeks to improve and automate the delivery and use of financial services. FinTech is utilized to help companies, business owners, and consumers better manage their financial operation, processes, and lives by utilizing specialized software and algorithms that are used on computers and increasingly smartphones. FinTech, the word, is a combination of financial technology. So, ginagamit ito para tulungan ng mga kumpanyang may-ari ng negosyo at mga consumer na mas mahusay na pamamahalaan ng kanilang mga pampinansyal na operasyon, proseso at buhay sa pamamagitan ng paggamit ng espesyal na software at mga ginagamit sa mga computer at lalong mga smartphone. When fintech emerged in the 21st century, the term was initially applied to the technology employed at the back-end system of established financial institutions. Since then, however, there has been a shift to more consumer-oriented services and therefore a more consumer-oriented definition. Fintech now includes different sectors and industries such as education, retail banking, fundraising, and non-profit and investment management, to name a few. Fintech also includes the development and use of cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin. While that segment of fintech may see the most headlines, the big money still lies in the traditional global banking industry and its multi-trillion-dollar market capitalization. Mula noon, gayunpaman, nagkaroon ng pagbabago na mas maraming serbisyong nakatuon sa consumer at sa makatuwid ay isang mas nakatuong kahulugan sa consumer. Kasama na ngayon sa fintech ang iba't ibang sektor at industriya tulad ng edukasyon, retail banking, pangangalap ng pundo at non-profit at pamamahala sa pamumuhunan upang pangalanan ang ilan. Understanding what fintech. Broadly, the term financial technology can apply to any innovation in how people transact business. From the invention of digital money to double entry bookkeeping, since the internet revolution and the mobile internet or smartphone revolution, however, financial technology has grown explosively. Fintech, which originally referred to the use of computer technology, can apply to the back office of banks or trading firms, now describe a broad variety of technology intervention into personal and commercial finance. Mula noong revolusyon sa internet at revolusyong mobile internet or smartphone, gayon paman, ang teknolohiyang pampinansyal ay lumago ng husto. Ang fintech na orihinal na tumutukoy sa paggamit ng teknolohiya ng computer na inilipat sa back office ng mga bangko o mga kumpanya ng kalakalan ay naglalarawan ngayon ng malawak na iba't ibang mga teknolohiyal at intervention sa personal at komersyal. Fintech now describe a variety of financial activities, such as money transfer, depositing a check with your smartphone, bypassing a bank branch to apply for credit, raising money for a business startup, or managing your investment, generally without the assistance of a person. And according to Fintech Adoption Index, 1/3 of consumer utilize at least 2 or more fintech services, and choose consumer are also increasingly aware of fintech as a part of their daily lives. Gaya ng money transfer, pagdeposito ng cheque gamit ang iyong smartphone, pagbypass sa isang sangay ng bangko para mag-apply para sa credit, pangangalap ng pera para sa pagsisimula ng negosyo o pamamahala sa iyong mga puhunan sa pangkalahatan ng walang tuluyan ng isang tao. Vintage and new technology. New technologies like machine learning, artificial intelligence, predictive behavioral analytics, and data-driven marketing will take the guesswork and habit out of financial decision. Learning apps will not only learn the habits of users, often hidden to themselves, but will engage user in learning games to make their automatic unconsciousness, spending, and saving decision better. Vintage, it is also a keen adapter of automate consumer services na technology utilize chatbots and AI interfaces to assist consumers with basic tasks and also keep down staffing costs. Vintage is also being leveraged to fight fraud by leveraging information about payment history to flag transactions that are outside the norm. Ang vintage ay saring masigasig na adapter ng automate na teknolohiya ng serbisyo sa consumer na gumagamit ng mga chatbot at AI interface para tulungan ang mga consumer sa mga pangunahing gawain at mabawasan din ang mga gastos sa staffing. Ang vintage ay ginagamit din upang labanan ng panluloko sa pamamagitan ng paggamit ng impormasyon tungkol sa history ng pagbabayad upang i-flag ang mga transaksyon wala sa pamantayan. Vintage user. There are 4 broad categories of user for vintage. First, B2B for banks. Second, their business clients. Third, B2C for small business. And fourth, consumers. Trends toward mobile banking, increased information data, more accurate analytics, and decentralization of assets will create opportunities for all 4 groups to interact in heretofore unprecedented ways. Katulad ng mobile banking, pinataas ng impormasyon, data, mas tumpak na analytics at decentralization ng pag-assess ay lilikha ng mga pagkakataon para sa lahat ng 4 na grupo na makipag-ugnayan sa mga hindi na nagagawang paraan. As for consumers, as with most technology, the younger you are, the more likely it will be that you are aware of and can accurately describe what vintage is. The fact is the consumer-oriented vintage is mostly targeted toward millennials given the hug size and rising earning and inheritance potential of the much talk about segment. Some vintage watchers believe that this focus on millennials has more to do with the size of the marketplace than the ability and interest of Gen Zers and baby boomers in using vintage. Rather, vintage tends to offer little to older consumers because it fails to address their problems. When it comes to business, before the admit and adoption of vintage, a business owner or startup would have gone to a bank to secure financing or startup capital. If they intended to accept credit card payments, they would have to establish a relationship with the credit provider and even install infrastructure such as a landline connected card reader. Now, with mobile technology, just hardless are a thing of past. So, pagdating sa mga negosyo, bago ang pagdating at pag-adapt ng vintage, ang isang may-ari ng negosyo or startup ay pupunta sana sa isang bangko para makakuha ng financial o startup capital. Kung nilayo nilang tumanggap sa mga pagbayad ng credit card, kailangan nilang magtatag ng isang relasyon sa isang credit provider at kahit na mag-install ng infrastruktura tulad ng isang card reader na nakakakonekta sa landline. Regulation and FINTECH. Financial services among the most heavily regulated sectors in the world. Not surprisingly, regulation has emerged as the number one concern among governments as fintech companies take off. So, ang mga serbisyong pampinansyal ay kabilang sa mga sektor ng pinakamabigat na kinokontrol sa mundo. Hindi katakataka ang regulasyon ay lumitaw bigla ng numero unong alalahanin sa mga pamahalaan habang umaalis ang kumpanya ng fintech. As technology is integrated into financial services processes, regulatory problems for such companies have multiplied. In some instances, the problems are a function of technology. In others, they are a reflection of the tech industry impotence to disrupt financial. Habang isinasamang teknolohiya sa mga proseso ng serbisyong pinansyal, dumami ang mga problema sa regulasyon para sa mga naturang kumpanya. Sa ilang mga pagkakataon, ang mga problema ay isang function ng teknolohiya. Sa iba, ang mga ito ay refleksyon ng kawalan ng pasensya ng industriya ng tech na guluhin ang pananalapi. For example, automation of processes and digital of data makes fintech system vulnerable to attacks from hackers. Recent instance of hacks and credit card companies and banks are illustrations of the ease with which bad actors can gain access to system and cause irreparable damage. The most important question for consumer in such cases will pertain to the responsibility for such attacks as well as misuse of personal information and important financial data. Halimbawa, ang automation ng mga proseso at pagdigital ng data ay ginagawang vulnerable ang mga fintech system sa mga pag-atake mula sa mga hacker. Ang mga kamakailang pagkakataon ng mga pag-hack sa mga kumpanyang credit card at mga bangko ay mga paglalarawan ng kadalian kung saan ang mga masasamang aktor ay makakakuha ng access sa mga system at pagdulot ng hindi mapapanauli na pinsala. Ang pinakamahalagang tanong para sa mga consumer sa mga ganitong kaso ay tumutukoy sa responsibilidad para sa mga naturang pag-atake, pati na rin ang maling paggamit ng personal na impormasyon at mahalagang data sa pananalapi. So, they have an example of FINTECH. FINTECH has been applied to many areas of financial. And here are just a few examples. Robo-advisors, investment apps, payments, personal financial apps, P2P lending, crypto apps, and shortage. Robo-advisor, they are apps or online platforms that optimally invest your money automatically, often for a little, and are accessible to ordinary individuals. Investment apps like Robinhood make it easy to buy and sell stocks, ETFs, and crypto from your mobile device, often with little or no commission. Payments apps like PayPal, Venmo, Blank, Seal, and Cash App make it easy to pay individual or business online and in an instant. Personal finance apps such as Mint, YNEV, and Quicken simplify. Let you see all of your finance in one place, set budgets, pay bills, and so on. P2P lending. Platform like Prosper Lending Club and Upstart allow individuals and small business owners to receive loans from an array of individuals who contribute microloans directly to them. Crypto apps, including wallets, exchanges, and payments application allow you to hold and transact in cryptocurrencies and digital tokens like Bitcoin and if and NFTs. And in shortage, it is the application of technology, especially physically to the insurance piece. One example would be the use of device that monitor your driving in order to adjust auto insurance rates. So that's all. Thank you and God bless.